Hey, this is Mother Nature. Isn't she gorgeous? Look at that. Look at the beauty, man. But look at the wickedness. Look at the darkness. Look at the fury. Look at the evil. Look at that. Does that look caring and nurturing to you? That's Mother Nature. This is also Mother Nature at work. The storm. Looks like a tornado's forming with some lightning. Look at the figure in the foreground, the silhouette. Tiny compared to the fury of Mother Nature in this realm. Tiny, right? A tiny, frail human body. Look at this huge tornado here forming. Look at that. Just look at it. Look at it. Take a look. What would you do if that was coming towards you at 40 miles per hour or 50 miles per hour traveling right at you? What are you going to do? Where are you going to go? Frail little human body. Is the human being body designed for this realm? Is it designed for nature? Is it designed for this hell realm? What people call earth and nature. Nature, they say they love nature. I've heard people say that in a nerdy way. I love nature. I love nature. Let me get into this. Let me really dig into this. Does it feel better? Does the air feel better walking in a forest? Sure. Is there more oxygen? Yes. Is it filtered and cleaner? Yes. But also look at the brutality. Look at this wicked storm. Where are you going to get shelter if you're out there and you get cold? What if that's in Canada somewhere? Or northern Canada? At a river or lake? North of Lake Superior, let's say. You'll freeze. Here's Mother Nature. Here she is. Here she is. We're really going to get into this today. Don't you see the beauty, man, of nature when they just look at a beach in California? It's beautiful. Yeah, it is. It is. I like the way the beach looks in the ocean, and I've been there a few times. Seen the sunsets at the beach. It looks pretty. But you're missing a lot when you just look at the beach in California or Florida or Cancun, Mexico. I've been there as well. I've been to beaches all over the place. Lakes too, not just the ocean. Atlantic, Pacific, Gulf of Mexico. Might not be seeing it all, though. You're just picking out a small little portion of this realm, saying, don't you see the beauty? Oh, there's beautiful places here and there. Sure. On the surface. What's under the ocean? Well, it's a feeding frenzy. That's what's really going on. You don't think about that, but everything's eating everything else under the surface of the ocean. Don't you see the beauty, man? What's up in the sky? You ever heard of birds of prey? They're eating other birds. They're eating chipmunks. They're eating squirrels. Sometimes small dogs, small animals. Fish. Everything's eating everything else. Don't you see the Illuminati, man? Isn't this fantastic here? Look at this image. That's part of this realm as well. But what we're really going to get into today is not the human influence, but nature. Nature. I love nature. I love nature. I love nature. I enjoy hiking out in nature through the woods and riversides, lakes, rivers, all over the place. It's enjoyable. Can be very peaceful at times. Just to get away from the cities and away from people, if possible. Sometimes you run into people out there, people with a barking dog or mountain bikers yelling at each other. There's all sorts of things that you can run into here. It's very difficult to find peace in this realm. I do see the beauty, but I want you to see something. I want you to open up your mind and eyes and ears a little bit more and consider something. We're not designed for this realm, man or woman. The human body is not perfect. It's not designed to survive in this realm. If you get a little scratch out in the woods, you might bleed to death if you get a deep cut, but if you get a scratch that draws blood just on the bark of a tree, for example, your calf or your arm brushes against sharp tree bark, you can get a scratch. If you're out in the wilderness, that can get infected if you don't have any antibiotics to put on it. Lotion or cream to treat it. You can get an infection. You can die from that. That's how thin our skin is. That's how easily we can be wiped out. We're not made for nature the way that many animals are. Birds can survive a Canadian winter. Not all of them. Some of them migrate. But some of them stay here all winter. How would you like to be outdoors all winter? Do you think you'd survive with no clothing in a Canadian winter? Well, were you born with clothing? Did humans always have clothing, or did they develop clothing? Why did they need to develop clothing? Have you ever tried to live naked outdoors in the freezing cold or the blazing sun? What about tools and technology? Where would humanity be without that? Well, they'd be more like the image on the screen. See those skulls? I don't know how humanity survived this long. To develop tools and technology, there must have been some plan or interference. It must be a rigged reality. Because we're not designed to live or survive or thrive out in the wild, naked, without tools or technology. So what did we do before we had that? Before we had knives and bows and thought them up and developed them, had weapons, tools, hammers, saws, ways to cut trees, axes, all of those things. We would be fucking defenseless in the wild that was way more dangerous than it is today. We've tamed nature and civilized it to a large degree, to a large extent. Look at these storms. They would kill you without shelter. You could not only be struck by lightning, but you get soaking wet in the cold, you'll freeze with hypothermia. The elements of this nature here in this realm can kill you. Human beings are not designed to survive in nature. We're poorly designed. We're a mismatch for this realm that we're in. We don't fit. I'm not calling myself a human being. I'm speaking about the human body, though. It's a mismatch for the realm. It shouldn't be on top with the way that we're designed. It doesn't make any sense. There are animals that are well adapted or well designed, well suited to survive, to get food, to have shelter, to be outdoors, living outdoors without clothing, without technology. Way, way, way better than we are. Whales, for example, and sharks in the sea seem well suited for their environment. Eagles and hawks and owls seem well suited for their environment. Okay? Even wolves and lions and predators like that seem well suited for where they live compared to us. Where can a human being live and gather food and not freeze or get baked, roasted and baked alive in the sun and dehydrated? On Earth, without clothing, without shelter, without air conditioning, without electricity, without tools, without weapons, knives, firearms, etc., without modern civilization. We can't run super fast. We don't have that ability. Even the fastest human beings can be run down by a bear, for example. Are you aware of this? We're not made for the wild. We're not made for the wilderness. We're a mismatch in this realm. We have back problems, poor design. Many millions of people have back problems, no matter how they sleep. Whether you sleep on a comfy, expensive Western bed with mattresses that might be $500 or $1,000 in a box spring, and whatever style whatever type of mattress, pillow top or whatever style you have, doesn't matter. People have back problems if they sleep on the floor, no matter how they sleep, on a board, on a sofa. We're not designed very well. Many have knee problems, joint problems in this realm. I'm talking millions when I say many. I don't mean a few people. It's a bad design. It's a very poor design. We're not great predators at all without tools and weapons. Without that, we're almost useless. So they call us an apex predator. Really? Remove clothing, remove tools and weapons, and go out in the wild the way animals are born. If you were born as a naked baby, we're not well suited for nature. We're a mismatch for this realm. It's a Viking ship in a storm. How long does it take the average baby to learn how to crawl, stand, walk, speak, do anything for themselves, be able to feed themselves, much less fend for themselves? We don't just get up and stand the way that deer do when they're born, for example. We're defenseless for a long time, which is trouble in the wild. In the wilderness, it makes you extremely vulnerable. You have to be looked after constantly. Can't be neglected, can't be left alone. Viking shipwreck here. The sea can kill you. The land can kill you. The air, the sky, water, air, fire, earth, all of it. All of the elements. It was a tremendous risk to sail in these Viking ships across the sea. And they reached newfound land in Canada many centuries ago. And they reached America. Everything was difficult before modern civilization. Everything, including travel. We're not even designed for travel on our 2 feet. How far can you go walking, jogging, running, hiking in a day or a few days or a week in rough terrain that hasn't been cleared land, that there's no trails made, out in the complete wilderness in a jungle or a Canadian forest in northern Ontario, for example, very north, or northern Quebec, somewhere in Quebec. In some kind of wasteland, perhaps a desert. How far can you go without water? How many days can you go without water? How long can you fast without eating? You can fast a lot more days without eating. You might be able to fast 30 or 40 days, depending on your body weight, body fat, how much you can sustain without eating. It depends. There's variables. But with water, I don't think you can go a week. Most situations. You'll be dying of thirst and dehydration. You'll be in big trouble after around 3 days, 4 days, out in the wild. How do you get clean water? From a puddle? From a lake? From a pond? A dirty pond? A river? There's lots of parasites, bacteria. A lot of it where you haven't grown up and grown accustomed to those bacteria will make you sick or kill you if you don't boil it. Because we're different from animals. They can drink out of a puddle without getting sick. Our immune system is different. We're different. We're different than wild animals. Get that through your heads. A lot of people believe that, oh, we're just animals, Stephen. They'll come on my channel and they'll say that. We're just animals. We're from the wild. No, we're not. We're a mismatch for this realm. It's like we're alien. We're not designed to survive here. A lot of people assume that we're the apex top of the food chain predators. Who says so? Maybe you're being preyed upon. Maybe you're in a predatory realm. Maybe there's predation happening here that you're unaware of. Maybe you're food for other beings, and you don't even realize they're draining your energy. They're sucking you dry, and not in a good way, not in a sexual way. Get your minds out of the gutter, people. Get your minds out of the gutter. Okay? But anyway, nature's brutal. Part of us is designed for nature. Our hands, do we have claws? Our fingers? No. We're not armed with claws on our feet or our hands. What are you going to do in a forest fire? This is showing a cabin. I just wanted to show that forest fires nature can take out your buildings, your shelter, your structure. If you build something, it can be taken away from you in a heartbeat, in minutes. How are you going to put that out in the wild? What are you going to do? Who are you going to call? There's no one to call out there. Isolation in the wilderness. Building a fucking cabin, let's say, in Alaska. Or maybe out in the Australian outback somewhere wherever. Somewhere isolated. In real nature, in the wilderness. What are you going to do? What are you going to do in a big forest fire? Where are you going to run? Where are you going to take shelter? Where are you going to hide? When all the trees are on fire and there's smoke and your cabin's burning down. What are you going to do? How are you protected in a human body against fire? Where are you going to run? Are you going to outrun the fire? You going to dig a hole in the ground? What are you going to do? Think about it. Maybe your body isn't designed very well for this realm. Is your skin fireproof? No, of course not. Can smoke inhalation overcome you and kill you? Yes. Yes, it can. Quite easily, in fact. You might be surprised how quickly that can happen. Look into it. Do a little bit of research. Look into it until you really understand, wait a second. What King Stephen's speaking about makes sense. We're not designed very well at all to survive in this realm. If it's a loving God that designed these human meat suit bodies, why are they such a mismatch for the realm? Why aren't we stronger? Why don't we have chimpanzee or gorilla strength? Why were Neanderthals somewhere between double, 3 times, something like that, as strong as we are? We're weaker than our so-called quote-unquote ancestors. Much weaker, much more fragile. But that makes sense to people somehow. They do the mental gymnastics and say, well, that's how evolution works. It doesn't just always improve and the strongest survive. Really? I thought it was the survival of the fittest and strongest. So we're worse, but we survived and they perished? Our Neanderthal ancestors, as they claim, I don't buy the evolution theory. Darwinian human evolution. I don't buy it at all. I haven't since I was young. I could see through that as a child. If that bothers you too bad. Cities on fire. You know, there's been cities that have burned down. Toronto has burned down, I believe, multiple times. I think the city of Chicago has also burned to the ground multiple times. And one was a Great Fire of Chicago, at least once, maybe multiple. I don't have all of this information at my fingertips. And San Francisco at least once, if not multiple times. Major cities have burned completely. Well, that's nature, right? That's the realm. That's the design. Whole cities can burn. Whole cities. But nature is beautiful, and the God that created nature is benevolent and loving and caring and loves his children, the God of this realm. Your God, the ones that worship a God. Doesn't care for you. Everything here shows that. All of the proof is on my side. The God of this realm, or quote God, doesn't give a fuck about you, or animals, or civilization, or your children, your parents, your children, your siblings, your friends, your pets, your cats, your dogs. It shows by the design of this place. It wouldn't be designed to harm you in millions of ways if it cared about you. It wouldn't put you in a realm that's fucking designed to harm you everywhere you turn. Why don't you consider that? If you love someone, do you put them in a fucking hellhole to be tortured, to worry, to stress, to be in fear, to suffer, to get the chances of getting one out of, or multiple out of 10,000 diseases, genetic disorders, to burn sometimes in forest fires and city fires and house fires? Do you throw babies into the fire? Do you throw the defenseless into the fire, into the flames? Well, some Christians say that I'm going to burn in the, quote, lake of fire. They wish for that. They hope that God tosses me, their God, their monster that they call a God. They hope that it tosses me into the lake of fire to burn for eternity. That's how sick and sadistic these creatures are, that people think are holy because they call themselves Christians. Look at this rubble here from an earthquake. Well, this is Mother Nature. Is your body designed to survive earthquakes? Is it built for that? To have roofs collapse on top of you? Why do earthquakes exist? Why do forest fires exist? Why is that a possibility here? Why is your body designed to be addicted to things, to get addicted to things? Why is your body designed where it's hard to be comfortable? For even a day. You'd be comfortable if this happened, if you lost your home, if it collapsed from an earthquake, and you lost your children, let's say. What good God would do that? Our God is an awesome God. Our God is an awesome God. Are you sure you're not worshiping the fucking devil? Are you sure? Because I do know that humans love to follow like sheep. They follow each other. They do it on YouTube channels, the Panelverse. They follow each other. If a group hates someone, they all join in. Group mentality, herd mentality. Look at the damage here. Why is this realm designed to have earthquakes and tornadoes and hurricanes and firestorms? Why? How come water can be polluted and tainted here? Why isn't it just clean all the time? Why isn't it designed to be clean, fresh, and renew itself and self-cleansing, let's say? Why isn't that the magical design if this God is omnipotent and can design anything, whatever way it wants? Why are there mud floods and mudslides and earthquakes, destruction? Why? Why is that even possible? Why are there so many possibilities for destruction and pain and suffering, catastrophe, disasters, quote-unquote acts of God, or quote-unquote natural disasters, as they're called? Why? Do you ever ask why? Do you ever stop to ask why? Do you ever look at this realm and wonder why? And really not ask a rhetorical why and just forget it, like why, and just move on. Like you don't give a shit, just a rhetorical why. But really try to seek to know and understand. Understand where you are, what this realm is, what the design is, what nature is. Dig deeper. You're skimming the surface. And I'm out there with fucking mining equipment trying to dig down as deep as I can. That's the reality. I've been doing that for decades. Here's a raven in a thunderstorm with lightning. Look at the lightning there. How many people are struck by lightning every year? Why? Why is that even possible? To be struck and electrocuted by lightning. You know how painful that would be? To be burned by lightning? Not just shocked, but burned. Your skin burned. Why are burns possible for the human skin? Why are bones so easily broken? Very easy to break your arm, your finger, your thumb, your leg, your ankle. Happens all the time. Millions of people have gone through that. Millions. Why? Why are you designed that way? To be so fragile? To be so vulnerable? Do you ever stop and think about it? Do you ever stop and think about where you are, what your body is, what you're in, why it's designed this way? That it could have been better, could have been improved, could have been completely different? Why do you have to eat food? Why do you have to breathe oxygen to live? Why do you have to drink water? Why do you have to use the bathroom or excrete waste? Why? Why do you have to sweat? This is a tornado image. Aimed right for that house. Funnel cloud, a tornado, ready to tear it to shreds. Why? Why does that exist? Why is that even a possibility that those can form in this realm and harm men, women, children, babies, the elderly, whoever? Disabled people could be in a home. They can't get out quickly because they can't walk. They'd have to get out of whatever seating or get their wheelchair, or, they might be in bed when that strikes and they're wheelchair bound. Could be the middle of the night. Tornado is storming through there, ready to tear their house and their neighbors to pieces. Why? Why is that even possible? Why is it designed this way? I didn't create tornadoes. I didn't invent earthquakes, tornadoes, hurricanes, tsunamis, great floods, volcanic eruptions, lightning, blizzards. I didn't invent these things that are part of Mother Nature and God's realm, God's earth, as they call it, God's green earth, whatever you want to call it. Hurricanes can develop tornadoes as well. You could be hit with both. Just recently in Florida, the hurricane that hit there were lots of tornadoes that developed. A double whammy. Why? Is that necessary? Why do they exist? Why is that part of the design for this realm we're in? Do you ever get used to asking why, or are you afraid to question where you are and how it is here and why it's this way? Why would it be designed this way other than to cause suffering and worry and stress and sadness and grief when you lose loved ones? Damage and more work rebuilding and more toil, more energy, if you want to call it louche, that they drain from you. You can call it whatever you want. You can call it spirit energy. The name doesn't matter to me. The truth matters. And understanding where you are matters. Why so many tropical storms and hurricanes? Why not have beautiful tropical islands without hurricanes? Without even a possibility. A realm where nobody's heard of that before. Because it's never happened before. Why not? They say this realm is perfect. Lots of them on YouTube claim God is perfect. No, this realm proves that wrong. The God of this realm is definitely not quote unquote perfect. Neither is nature, and neither is the human body. It's completely flawed. Look at this vegetarian here. They love vegetables. But look at the jaws and the teeth and the crushing force of a hippo. They're very, very dangerous. They kill a lot of people. I believe hippos and crocodiles kill way more people in Africa per year than lions do. Hippos might even kill the most. They're not killing to eat the meat, though. They will, though. They will eat meat. Everything here will. Why is everything in nature eating everything else? It's a feeding frenzy. Why is life designed to eat other life to live, to survive? To live, you have to eat life. Does that make sense? Is that beautiful? Is that wonderful? Is that peaceful? Is that glorious? Is that holy? Is that godly? Life has to eat other life to live. Why? It's brutal. Oftentimes it's eating it alive. In other words, it's not a dead piece of meat on a plate like the way that we eat. We're not eating something that's struggling to survive and fighting against us in our teeth and being eaten alive. It's been humanely terminated, we'll say, and butchered in most cases. Crocodiles would eat you. Lions would eat you if hungry enough. Why is meat eating, animals eating other animals, why is that a thing? Why is the realm designed this way? Why is Mother Nature designed this way? Should humans ever be food for lions, let's say? Or crocodiles or hippos, as shown earlier? Why? This is such a great place and designed for humanity. Why should some people end up as food for lions or tigers? I could have put tigers here as well. Could have put lots of things here, but I'm just trying to illustrate without showing everything here. You could be food for a bear. You can't outrun them. You're not designed to run faster. They can outrun you. And they have a mechanism, an instinct to chase. If you run away, they'll chase you. They see you as prey then completely. You're doomed if you run. Doomed. Because that clicks in to chase you. If it's a black bear, you can stand and yell at it and scare it away. If it's a brown bear, you're in big trouble. You better start fighting it. You better have bear spray and a firearm. Or at least, that's the best option. But if you don't have that, hit it with a branch or kick it in the snout or something. Punch it as hard as you can and yell and try to frighten it off and make yourself appear big. And that's in desperation, though. If it's more than a brown bear, if it's a grizzly, you're fucked. But a large brown bear will take you out easily. Forest fires. Why? I know what some would say. Well, they replenish the forest, Stephen. Don't you know that? These burns are necessary. Why not design it without this required? Do you know how many animals burn to death in forest fires that you don't seem to consider when you say, well, it replenishes the forest, it burns the underbrush and the dead tree? I'm aware of all that. I know about the regrowth. I know about that. Do you consider how many animals are burned to death, whether it's in America, Canada, or fires in Australia where it's burning koalas to death? How about that? Do you ever think of the life lost? When you talk about the design that some of you have been taught, you think you're clever and smart, saying, well, it regrows and it's healthy for the forest to have these burn-offs. Heard all of that long ago, decades and decades ago. I'm not ignorant. It's you that should step out of that box and say, wait a second, I was just programmed with that. I might want to step out of that and start thinking a little bit more. Why not design a realm where no forest fires are ever necessary, where no animals have to burn to death? Right, to death, isn't it? To burn alive, burn to death. It's horrific if you think about it and face it, which many of you have never done. You know, there are people that live to be 90-something years old. They never consider this. Not once. What about great floods? Or a tsunami that brings a huge tidal wave? Could be 20 feet, 50 feet, hundreds of feet tall, some cases. Hits the shore. Isn't that beautiful nature? Do you think that's beautiful? Don't you see the beauty of tidal waves, tsunamis, great floods, worldwide floods? Where are you going to go in a worldwide flood? Who are you going to blame? Are you going to blame me for that? Some try to do that and say, well, it's on us. I didn't think up great floods. I didn't think up tornadoes, hurricanes, earthquakes, forest fires, wildfires. I didn't think up any of this stuff. I'm subjected to them in this realm. And even if it doesn't happen to me, it's to others, other spirits. I don't want them to suffer, even if I never go through a great flood like this. I don't like the suffering of others where it's happening, and I'm not there. I don't want others to suffer and die and lose their children and grieve. Do you understand? I didn't design this fucking realm. Where are you going to go in a great flood? Where are you going to swim? How good are human bodies for swimming or swimming long distances? In most cases, not very good at all. Not built to survive. How good is the human eyesight or the human hearing? Lots of animals hear what we can't hear, see what we can't see. Can see in the dark, for example. Night vision. We need technology for that, right? How many people wear glasses or contact lenses? How many need hearing aids? How many are blind? There's tens of millions blind in this realm. What about the cold winters in Canada or Iceland or Sweden or up in Alaska? What are you going to do to survive those? You need clothing, you need shelter, you need technology, you need fire. What about falling through the ice? Are you designed for that, to survive that? No. No, you're not. Kid out in the wild, the human body is very, very poorly designed. It's a mismatch. You can freeze to death. Easily. You can freeze to death in Canada with clothing and blankets if you're homeless on the street sleeping in a Canadian city. On a sidewalk, there's homeless people that freeze to death every winter. That's with clothing and blankets and jackets. Can still freeze to death. Try it naked. Frostbite, hypothermia. In minutes. If dropped somewhere naked as an animal out in the wild. We're not designed for this realm. We're not designed to survive here easily. We rely on clothing, technology, tools, civilization. Heavily rely on that here. What about strength? There's lots that's stronger than us. A bear is stronger than you are. A gorilla is much stronger, even a chimpanzee. We're not that strong, human beings. Even the world's strongest ones, which are exceptions. Most of humanity is not even close to that. The strongest weightlifters are world's strongest man in the world's strongest man competition. About blizzards. They survive a blizzard if you're not in a home. Mother Nature does not care about you. Mother Nature will kill you. Mother Nature will bury you with fucking hot lava. Like this shown here. Volcanic eruption. Let's take Hawaii, for example. Do you think it cares? If you're standing there, if you built a home there? No, it doesn't care. The volcano doesn't care. That's part of Mother Nature. The blizzard doesn't care. The hurricane doesn't care. The tornado doesn't care. I don't know what it is with so many people that believe, well, Mother Nature will take care of us and cares about us. Not at all. The sea doesn't care. The sea creatures don't care about you. The land animals, bears, don't care about you. They don't care. The weather doesn't care. If it's freezing cold or if it's 120 degrees, steaming hot in the desert, it doesn't give a fuck about you anywhere that you are on Earth. On the land, on the sea, frozen tundra, out in the desert, it doesn't matter. It doesn't care. It doesn't care about you. You got to get that through your head. Got to drop the delusions, the wishful thinking syndrome, the programming. You got to drop it. You got to get rid of it. You got to face reality. You got to drop the Stockholm syndrome defending this fucking place and saying, well, there's some beautiful places. Yeah, I know. I've seen them. Lots of them. In photographs and some in person. I'm aware. I'm not unaware of that. I think it's you that's been unaware of where you are. How this place is designed to harm you, to make you struggle, to make you feel pain, to make you suffer, to make it difficult for you to survive. You're in a hell realm. You don't have to like it. You can say that you hate this place or you hate hearing that. Fine. It's still true, though. That's what you should ask yourself. Is it true or not? Is this guy speaking the truth? Is King Stephen smacking me around, spanking my ass with the truth? Is he putting it bluntly, directly, right in my face? No punches pulled. I'm showing you where you are. I'm not just saying it. I'm showing it. You're in a very dark place. You're in a hell realm. Do you want to stay here forever? Do you want to get recycled? Do you want to be here endlessly, lifetime upon lifetime upon lifetime, with amnesia, so that you don't remember anything that I've spoken here? You come back here not remembering anything, not a video of mine, not a word that I've said, and not me. You don't remember it all. Do you want to waste this opportunity and throw it all away? End up back here again with amnesia, starting from scratch, no knowledge at all? You won't even know how to feed yourself or crawl or walk. You have to do everything. You have to start all over again from square one. Or do you want to focus this lifetime on getting out, figuring it out this time? It's a hell realm. How'd you like to be caught, the man or figure in the piece of artwork here, the AI artwork, in a forest fire? Where are you going to go? Where are you going to run? What are you going to do when you're surrounded by flames? You're not built for this. Some are clinging to this realm as survivalists and homesteaders. And they want to live off the grid. They want to live in the forest, and they cling to this place. They want to forage for food. And if there's a great reset, or they call it an apocalypse, they want to learn. They just want to survive and stay here for as long as they can. You're still in a hell realm. Doesn't change this realm. Illuminati image yet again to show the darkness of this place. Why does evil rule this place? Why is it designed for evil to rule it? Why is that the design of this realm? Why would it be that way? If it's designed and created by a loving creator. This place is run by demons. And nature itself, as much as it might look or feel or smell pretty, is very brutal. You might even call it demonic. It's very fucking brutal, even on the animals in the wild. It's brutal for them to live in the wild, whether it's a deer or a hyena or a bear or a lion. Have you ever seen them when they get old and sick? Bears, lions, wolves. It's heartbreaking to see old, sick, wild animals struggling and dying. It's not fun at all, but people just want to hone in with tunnel vision on the beauty. and on the heartwarming stuff, like a little bunny rabbit hopping around and, oh, it's so pretty and cute. They don't want to look at the real big picture. They want to look at a tiny slice. They want to look at less than 1% or a fraction of 1%. Okay? Not even 1/10 of 1% rather than the 99.9%. They don't want to look at the whole picture, the totality, the big picture, at all of it and take it all in and say, this is what it is. Okay? They want to look at, let's say, a family. Say that family's so perfect and so beautiful. They're all attractive and they're tall and the women look feminine and the men are masculine and they get along and they have great relationships. Meanwhile, you don't know that behind closed doors they're beating the shit. There's abuse and physical abuse and incest going on and sick things. It's not what it appears to be. They don't want to see, though. They want to see just the surface. They don't want to see the addictions and the abuse and what's fucked up psychologically. Human beings are fucked up psychologically, spiritually, physically, not designed for this realm at all. This place breaks so many. They break down with depression, anxiety. They get suicidal. They have psychosis. There's all kinds of mental illnesses in this place. The, quote, human animal, end quote, is not designed for this fucking realm. It's a mismatch. Even our feet get fucked up if you wear shoes. And if you don't, there's other problems. Some say it's better to live barefoot so your toes can spread out and wear barefoot shoes and stuff like that. But shoes do protect you in certain ways. You're stronger not wearing them for life. If you go for years, your feet will change if you go shoeless for years. You can look into that one if you want to. How our feet would be naturally without wearing shoes. But have you ever stepped on something that your shoe protects you from? Where if it was your bare foot, you'd be in big trouble. Out in the wilderness. Big trouble. It doesn't have to be a nail. It doesn't have to be something that is man-made. It can be nature itself. There's a lot here that nature does that has nothing to do with man or men's inventions or technology or men interfering with the weather. Nature itself is fucking brutal. The natural realm itself, Mother Nature. You better get used to hearing it. And the human body is not designed to run long distances, to breathe underwater, to breathe smoke. Not well designed for climbing or battling animals, large animals, with our bare hands. Not even designed to sleep on the ground. Your back will end up all fucked up. Even if you try your best to be healthy and do stretches and yoga and do everything possible, take care of your body, your knees can still get fucked up. Or your spine. Or something else. Your elbows or your wrist or anything can happen. The healthiest people can break a bone out in the wild hiking. You could be in prime condition, fit as a fiddle. Break your fucking leg or your ankle, twist your ankle. Happens all the time to people that are experienced at hiking and climbing and doing things. And they're in great shape, physical shape. Doesn't matter. There's people that are in great shape and they're dead at 35 years old. And they're jogging and they die of a heart attack. And there's someone that takes physical fitness seriously and cardio and everything else. Doesn't matter what you do. There's people on strict diets. You can't defeat this realm. It doesn't matter where you run. If you try to hide, you buy 10 acres or 50 or 100 acres somewhere out in the wilderness. Live away from civilization on a homestead off the grid. You're still in the hell realm. You're never free here. There's nowhere to run and hide. Even if you try to hide from the government and try to avoid paying taxes and you try to avoid being part of the system, you're still in a hell realm. That's what you better face. And you're still in a body. You're a slave to this body while you're here. This meat suit with a central nervous system that can cause you pain that you can't shut off from your fingertips to your toes, anywhere in your body. You can have chest pain, you can have back pain, you can have pain anywhere in your nerves. can have nerve damage, can experience all kinds of pain that you can't just turn off. You're in a torture suit. You're in a meat suit that's not designed to feel good. Lots of people don't feel good in this place. They have chronic pain every fucking day. Wake up. Wake up. Choose wisely.